Grand day, you beautiful souls. So, I am Alanisa Sada Salahaddin. Thank you so much for joining me in this space. And as always, I'm always grateful that you all um, come back, one, and then two, it's a pleasure to be of service. I realize every single time I do a video or even a post on Facebook now how important it is to continuously perpetuate this energy of giving and sharing things of such a high vibrational experience, And so for that understanding, my understanding has become more, I cannot express it enough, more profoundly great because we're healing. We are. If you're on my Facebook, it's like I probably sound like a broken record because I say some of the same things, but it's very important that we recognize that we are healing. We're recovering from a long life of not knowing who we are. And so that brings me to this video. Today, I wanted to talk specifically about authenticity, being authentic, the ability to live authentically. What is that? That in so many ways is like, that's how we get to our soul. Like, I am going to be speaking, and FYI, just a note to yourself, I'm speaking to your soul. Physically, you're watching me, but vibrationally, I am trying to communicate with that part of you that very rarely gets acknowledged, and that's your soul, that part of you that wants to be happy, that wants to be expressed, and fully live in its continuous expression of itself and happiness and peace and bliss, whatever that may be. I'm speaking to that part of you. So I pray that you are working on your alignments, you're tuning your vibration to hear me, to understand what I'm saying, to recognize some truth in it, whether it be a truth with a big T or a little t. The little t is the one that you don't know because you haven't experienced enough to understand. The big one is the one that you recognize as truth because you've experienced enough of your life on a certain vibrational level and you recognize it to have experienced it, like you understand it, like it's a part of you due to an experience that you've had. And so I'm not sure what that is for you, where you are with that. However, these videos that I'm creating them for that reason. It's because I want to help you get there. I want to expedite the process for you. And so, thank you. Shukram. Asante. Both of those are thank you. One's thank you in Arabic, shukram, and asante is thank you in Swahili. And my family, we're learning them both. And so, but shukram. And so, with that being said, the authentic self, the part of you that is trying to be expressed the most, it lies in a place where you have to challenge yourself to be continuously this person that you've always imagined being, like the epitome of cool or the epitome of just this wonderful person, and it's crazy, but when I say that and then I think in my mind of somebody that I deem to be cool, I think of the Fonz. Like, some strange reason, Happy Days, if you're in my generation, you remember Happy Days. The Fonz just had this energy about him, this vibration about him. He walk in and he's just like, hey, and everybody liked him. The Fonz was not a troublemaker. He was like, not, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't all kumbaya through the place, but he wasn't angry. Like, he didn't live in this vibrational discourse. He didn't have the average drama that most people had for that time. And so, when I think of cool, I think of the Fonz. Well, he was himself. There was nobody else like him. There was literally nobody like the Fonz on Happy Days. There was literally one Fonzie, and that was it. We all have that capability. We all have that, excuse me, I'm always tweaking myself. But we all have that, part of us. We don't probably live as that expression of ourselves. But that's the problem. The more you live as that part of you that you think is the cooler part of you, you grow to love and respect that part of yourself. Your friend, your family, your friends, your family and friends together, they both grow to recognize you as just being yourself. I spoke on that before on another video that I did, where when people, or I believe the video was my, I believe it was the emotional, speaking from a spiritual, that's so crazy. I've been producing so many videos, like my mind is like jumbled up, but the emotional intelligence or the spiritual intelligence, I'm not sure now what I even titled it, but whatever it may be, I think it was my first video, believe it or not. But that, I spoke on it on there, and it's when somebody goes to describe you and all they can say about you is she's always been like that, or he's always been like that. That is a beautiful way to have lived your life. Why? Because nobody honestly can say that you're acting out of character, you're not being yourself. When people can only say, oh, she's always been like that, that is beautiful. That is like a very profound statement about a person to another person. And for the people who don't know you, that think that you're faking, fraud, and not being yourself, they stand to be corrected every time you show up. Because again, you've always been the way that you're expressing yourself. You've always been the way that you're arriving. You've always been the person that they see. So whether it be in your clothes, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, the way you remove yourself, because sometimes, we express ourselves in so many behavioral forms to the point where we won't even allow ourselves to be subjected to certain environments. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, that's cool, but I'm going to have to come back, or I'll catch you when you're not in this element, because I don't want to be subjected to the vibration of it. You may not have recognized it like that before, but your authentic self wasn't comfortable expressing itself in that environment, and you wanted to change, and so you removed yourself. That is also you being authentic. You don't have to stay in environments that don't make you feel comfortable. When we align our souls in this physical form, we become more sensitive to certain energies. We become sensitive to certain people, places, and things, and it's not uncommon to feel like you're separating yourself from people in your past or certain family members. Remember, you're on your own journey as your individual self, and authentically, nobody else is going to be able to express your feeling to you so that you can understand it and be comfortable. You're going to have to literally experience now. What I'm saying, you're going to have to experience it. Like, watch my video and go into a room with some people that you always felt kind of weird about, and then notice the feeling, notice the environment, notice the energy, notice everything that's going on in that space. Take time and just kind of feel it out. Listen to what they're talking about. Can you really relate? Are you seriously entertained? Does the stuff that they say intrigue you enough to go Google it and research it? Are you enlightening, or are you being enlightened in this space? And so your authentic self recognizes that there's a need to feel enlightened. There's a need to feel challenged. Not everything is just about being entertained, in a sense. Like when you watch TV, sometimes you just want to see what's on. You just want to see it. When you leave after seeing it, you start to feel a certain way. It's not always that experience everywhere you go. And it's not that you can't have it. It's just that authentically some things serves you better than others. If you notice that when you go places with people that you don't like, your experiences are negative experiences, that's because your authentic self, the person that you really are trying to express yourself as, is not comfortable. However, when you invite people into your space and you are comfortable, everything's flowing, everything's fluid. You go places with people that you like and you guys are mutually enjoying the space, everything's flowing, everything's fluent. You're expressing yourself, you're comfortable, you're very happy, your vibration is boosted, you're happy. You recognize that more often when you're authentically living as yourself. I'm just not one to encourage you to go out into the world and pretend to be someone that you're not, but it's so common. And for that reason, Now is a perfect time for you to sit down, study yourself, take notes on yourself, observe your surroundings. Mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, we're experiencing life. Sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes it's appearance, the environmental structures. Sometimes it's peer pressure with your family and your friends to be someone that you're not. Sometimes it's the TV, that image of seeing people continuously perpetuate a certain way of being. Sit down and evaluate yourself. If you have to write it out, I'm a fan of journaling. I write all the time. I mean daily. I'm like continuously, I don't know if you can see that, I'm continuously just taking notes on myself, and observing myself, because it's me. Like, you'll spend a long time in school studying a subject to come out of school to lack experience. In your life is very opposite. Your life is lived in experience. You're experiencing yourself. You're experiencing all these different things. And so now is the time for you to study yourself. You go to college to study books about other people and other things so you can acquire information and knowledge, right? But now it's time for you to do the same thing with yourself to get to your authentic self. Who are you? What do you like? What do you not like? Things you need to enjoy. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Why would you choose to label yourself? Well, for one, you really need to understand the terms. They're very different terms characteristically and behaviors. And so if you're an introvert, you're very quiet. You're very still. You're very in yourself. You don't like to be around people. You don't like to express yourself certain ways. But if you're extroverted, you're just like, hey, walk into a room. Everybody's your friend. You're just like, welcome to me, not welcome to the party. Welcome to me. But that's the type of person I am. I'm an extrovert. I am like the middle of the room. I love meeting people, and I'm just like, hey, nice to meet you, shaking hands, kissing babies, signing autographs, whatever the case may be. I feel like when I arrive, that's whatever the event is has started. Period. It's not being selfish, self-centered. It's not being egotistical. It's not being any of those things. It's just saying that I love me so much that I'm sharing me with other people. And authentically, I feel like we're all worthy of that same feeling of confidence when you walk into any room. I give it to my daughter. She's 7. And we would go to Starbucks when she was little, and the guy would remember her drink. He's just a kid hot chocolate, but he remembered her drink. And I was like, I'm with her. I just stopped caring. I drove the kid to Starbucks to get hot chocolate. When we walked in and they were just like, hey, she's here. And it was the kid. I'm like, I'm with her. That is cool. She's authentically being supported in her own self vibrationally, and I'm her mother. And I just get to ride the wave of that. We don't have to do that for everyone and everything, but for ourselves, we need to recognize it, and we need to become more fluent at speaking and being more authentically ourselves. So I hope that this information serves you. I hope that you're able to get something out of what I'm saying. This was my message today: how to live more authentically, how to recognize what you can be, who you are authentically, and to express it as best you can. So again, thank you so much for sharing and coming into my space. I am Alanisa Salahadin, and it is a pleasure to be of service. Love, divine love, and wholeness.